What's up, guys? Welcome back to Storytime with Uncle John, where I pluck stories about tales from tech support and malicious compliance from Reddit and around the web. And you can also email them to me at who'syouruncle@gmail.com, and yeah, we'll get them worked in. I've got at least 2 waiting for me, so I'm hoping to get them worked in the next week or so here. Anyway, let's get to the stories. 12 megabyte email signatures. Why is Outlook running so slowly? I work for an MSP. We have some customers, including this one, who cannot afford downtime due to the nature of their business. They used to run on a self-hosted email server, which was dying a slow death. So whenever there was even a slight blip in their emails going down or running slowly, our phones would light up like a Christmas tree. We received several calls one day that everybody's emails are running slowly and they're finding it impossible to work. Every email takes 10 plus seconds to open and it's impeding their workflow. I connect to a machine and test it out for myself, see the same exact issue several times over, then notice that the issue doesn't occur on every email, only the ones with their signature in it. I also noticed that their email signatures have changed slightly since I last spoke with them. I sent a test email to myself for further analysis, at which point I determined, as you may have surmised from the title of my post, that their new email signatures are 12 megabytes in size. Their email signatures are a single image, no text. This has always been the case, but now they had a new design, thanks to a new member of their marketing department, who must surely have some expertise in Photoshop and should know that making an email signature 9,000 by 14,000 pixels is ridiculous, right? Of course not. So the marketing department creates a humongous template, pass it on to the office administrator who doesn't know any better, then task her with creating 100 plus signatures for the entire business, including an instruction sheet on how to change your email signature. Cue every member of the company complaining about Outlook slowing to a crawl. I explain the issue to the office admin who's handing out all of these email signatures, suggests that she speaks with her user in marketing who created the template, then distribute new, smaller email signatures to everybody again. I even offer a few ideas on the most efficient way to go about this, but I never receive a response. I do, however, see users' emails begin to speed up over the course of the next week or so. The strange part now is that every email signature seems to be slightly different resolutions, even some looking somewhat blurry. Eventually, user 1 out in the field calls our office, saying he's having problems attaching his new email signature. I connect, ask him to show me where the file is, and he points to a PDF on his desktop saying that he can't find the option to attach it. I explain that you can attach a PDF, you need the image file. I suggest you speak with the office administrator and ask her to send you this again in the right format. User 1 says no problem, will do. I disconnect and we end the call. User 1 then emails me, plus the office administrator, requesting the signature in an image format. Office administrator replies, that's the correct format, just follow the instructions attached. It turns out that their apparent workaround to the 9,000 by 14,000 pixel issue is the following. Recreate the email signature in Photoshop. Not reduce the resolution of the signature at all, print them as a PDF, still in 9,000 by 14,000. Send the PDFs to the relevant user with their signature in it. Advise the user to open the PDF, open snipping tool and take a screenshot of the signature in PDF. Save the screenshot, then use that as your email signature. This explains why the signatures were all different sizes and of different quality. I tried again to advise that this wasn't an efficient way to manage their signatures, but was met with silence in response. Eventually, the users changed their signatures using their internally advised method, leaving them all with mismatched email signatures. At least Outlook was running better again for everybody. I mean, I love the snipping tool, don't get me wrong. I use it a lot for doing these videos, as a matter of fact. When I need just a snippet of the title for the title screen of each story, that's what I use, the snipping tool. But, you know, for an email signature, I usually put in the text that I need, and the picture itself is small. It needs to be just big enough to be recognizable. That's it. Nothing else. All the other stuff can be put in text form, you know, like your name, contact number, hours of operation, whatever. I don't know. People are nuts. Ooh, Nickel. Yes, I said your name. Still doesn't want me in his chair. User needed help logging into 2016 Outlook. So, 2016 Outlook has lots of issues. One issue is when the MFA is enabled, it will not necessarily tell you that lack of MFA setup is the reason you get a broken login prompt. I explained to a user that the reason they can't log in is because we need to set up her MFA. She scoffs and doesn't want to do it, but says, okay, whatever. I have her log into Outlook.com after giving a brief explanation of why it's necessary to have MFA, and that this process can actually make it easier for her to log in if she uses it properly. I get her to the screen with the QR code, finally after she forgot her password, Entered a new one, forgot it immediately, and then I set one manually and left it up so we could copy and paste it later if needed. I get to the point where it's time to install the MFA app. Keep in mind she's dragging the mouse away from me every 2 seconds to continue working while we're troubleshooting, making this take 10 times longer than it needs to. Please go ahead and unlock your phone and look for the MS Auth on your phone's app store. I have to install an app on my phone too? I'm not doing that. They don't pay me for my phone at work. This is too much. I just won't read my emails until they fix this. Me in a sickly sweet voice. Okay, well let me know. I explained ad nauseum that she can't get around it. MFA is mandatory. 40-minute call to set up a 5-minute MFA, and she decided to not do it when we finally get to the end. Next, user calls in, same company, same issue, except the user is in their 70s instead of their 50s. They follow my instructions. They don't try to go ahead, they don't do anything I don't tell them to do. We logged her in because she knew her password. We scanned the QR code, she's in. Took me about 2 minutes after I remoted in, but honestly she didn't need me to remote in. And she was competent enough that I could have sent 2 screenshots and a short explanation, and she would have been perfectly fine. I don't understand why some people have to fight so hard to do what their tech support is telling them must be done. Because people are crazy, and some are stupid on top of being crazy. I don't know if you've ever watched any of those, police interaction videos where people are getting pulled over for, DWI, expired tags, whatever. And if you notice, 99.9% of those people never shut up. This lady couldn't really keep talking over you. Maybe she did, I don't know. But in place of that, people also will not stop using their mouse and their computer. If you're remoted in and you're trying to control things on their computer, they have no concept of that. They just keep futzing around and doing things that they shouldn't do. And then, of course, they never want to follow directions, so, to begin with, whether they're talking or not. But, yeah, crazy. Struggles of multi-factor authentication. So I work as your generic tech support for a retailer, and we have people calling in to set up their MFA on their phones all the time. The organization sends out detailed guides on how to set it up, but they need someone to walk them through it anyway. It's a pretty straightforward setup, but people always find ingenious ways to make it difficult. Here's an exchange I had recently. Lady says, I want to set up the MFA app. Me, sure, if you've downloaded it already, you can log into this, http blah blah blah, and scan the QR code. Lady says, okay, I logged in, where's the code? I said, what are you seeing on the screen? It should show you the QR code as soon as you log in. Lady said, there's a pairing key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's a bunch of options under that. Okay, that's weird. The QR should be right on the top of the pairing key. Did it not load correctly? Anyways, we have other options instead of using the QR. Do you want to set up your phone number instead for a text-based authentication? Lady says, no, I don't want to use my personal phone number for work. Okay, fair enough. Maybe try to close it out and log into the website again. You should see the code right there. Lady says, okay, I did that. Where's the code? Do you not see the QR code there? Like a big black square box made of tiny boxes? Lady says, that's the code? Okay, kind of weird if you ask me, so what do I do now? Yeah. In my head, I'm saying, you're the weird one, lady. That's what a QR code looks like. Anyways, could you scan the code from the app on your phone? She says, how do I scan it? From my camera? No, you downloaded the app earlier, right? Could you open that up, and once you tap the add account button, it should launch your camera to scan it. Lady says, okay, let me try that. She struggles for a minute. But how do I scan the code from my phone? Do I screenshot it? What? I realize she's opened the website on her phone, facepalming to myself thinking I should have been more clear. Okay, let's start over. Yup, OP, not only do you have to hold their hand through the whole thing, you have to be so detailed and repeat everything ad nauseum, and they still won't be able to follow directions. And that's not even to mention the number of people out there who still don't know how to scan a QR code, whether it's through their camera or through the app, which will open their camera if you allow usage in the security settings. I just don't know. It's just not that difficult. Modern technology is supposed to make things easier, and 90% of the time, people just find a way to make it more difficult. Awesome. Can you send me a screenshot? One of my first tasks at a new job about 11 years ago was to shadow someone who was identified for me as really good at their job so that I could write a training plan for others in her role. So I'm at her work site, watching over her shoulder as she works in some application, and something goes wrong that I'd never seen before. I asked her to take a screenshot and send it to me so that I could look into it more when I was back in the office. She knows how to take a screenshot. Yay! Then she opens Word. Okay, I know a lot of people who paste screenshots into a blank Word doc and email it. It's stupid, but whatever, it's harmless. Then she prints it. Wait, what? Then she takes the printout over to the multifunction printer scanner fax and asks me for my email address. I say, can I show you something? She says, sure. I show her that she can paste a screenshot directly into an email. Her eyes widen. Then I show her that she can email a document directly from Word. She says, oh my God, you just saved me so much time. See? People find a way to make anything more difficult. I'm not saying I've never had to do goofy workarounds before. Most of the time it was because I was too cheap to buy some software or whatever. And, I had to have workarounds because I didn't have some fancy schmancy thing. Or I didn't know about it or whatever. But this one's new for me. So my son, he's been taking coding classes, mostly Python, for the last year or so online. And teaching himself how to code and everything. And yesterday, his laptop wasn't connecting to the printer through the network. And I know there's been some issue with the Epson software and stuff like that. It's goofy. But anyway, so I go to the Epson website and I download the whole package for this printer series. All the drivers and all the other, peripheral software for scanning and things like that. And I don't know which piece makes it actually connect better, but something in that package makes it do it. So I just download the whole package and then I just undo the checkboxes for a couple options and we're good. As soon as I'm done, I go to print his original document that he wanted to print so that he didn't have to plug into the printer or anything else. And I hit Control P for print and he had his eyes got like dinner plates. He had no idea that you could do that. So we went through some control commands and his production should get a little bit better. I thought he knew. I mean, I thought I'd put him up for a regular computer, like general computer usage class. But I mean, I try to teach everybody in the house, Control V, Control C, Control Z. He knew about the undo, so that's no big deal. But yeah, Control P. Who would have thought? Fixing a printer. It's like riding a bicycle, only it's on fire and everyone's watching you. Back after a 1 year hiatus, it's you're no longer in the print trade for reprographer. Reprographer? Okay, that's a new word for me. After being made redundant, I retrained as a dock officer, bailiff for Americans, in courts. But that doesn't mean I've escaped from the demon printers entirely and I'm still called upon to use my skills. After all, the UK criminal justice system is slave to knackered desktop devices well out of their league, and I made the mistake of letting my colleagues know what I used to do for a living. My major moment of aggravation has been hearing the telltale rattle clunk of a device dying, which still makes me flinch. Occasionally I'm even called from the dock to do what I can for the poor buggers. I can't carry my old tools, banned from custody suites as they are, so I've learned to make do. For instance, handcuff keys make great flathead screwdrivers. Many delays in court cases are caused by printers, believe it or not, failing to print required documents or mucking them up, and I do my bit. But nothing is more nerve-wracking than that time I was effecting my repairs in open court. Imagine the scene. Jury's in court. Judges summing up. Talking about documents that will hopefully be handed around in a minute. And then me. Legs peeking out from underneath the clerk's desk as I try to fix a problem with the paper feed. And the beautiful whir as it decides it'll work after all and people can get their bundle. You don't see that in Law & Order. Then again, I wish real court was as interesting as Law & Order. The pressure was akin to disarming a bomb. Every time the judge mentioned delays to the case and the missing papers, I flinched, and the damn machine mucked up out of spite. But it was pretty satisfying once done. I may have nothing of the skill of my previous role, but keeping this limping army running is vital, and of course it's no other bugger's job. I couldn't imagine being a bailiff in court and trying to repair a printer, which isn't my job, with the judge and jury and, everybody in the gallery staring at you. And then, of course, if it doesn't work, you can't come up with a solution right then when everybody needs it. Of course, it's going to be your fault. So, yeah, I'm not sure I would touch that one. Got to be really careful telling your coworkers and employers what you used to do for a living or what skills you have. Ew. Minimized or closed? I'm not actually tech support, but somehow I get roped into helping my coworkers with the basics every day. Yesterday, my boss was using a piece of tech in our office he rarely uses. He calls me over to explain it to him. Hey boss, there's this handy sheet of instructions that I wrote taped to the desk right next to the equipment. Boss says, I don't need that, I've got you. Lucky me. So I walk through each step of using this item, ending with plugging it into the laptop, which syncs the data. I clarify that the laptop isn't networked to our shared drives, so he'll need a flash drive to transfer his data, or email it to himself. He seems finished, so I head back to my desk to do my actual job. 2 minutes later, boss says, hey, is this computer networked? Me. Nope, need a flash drive. 2 minutes later again. Boss, all the slots are full. Where do I plug it in? Unplug the device. Your data's already synced. 2 minutes later again. Boss, it won't let me. Did you close the program first? Boss says, I didn't know I had to. Okay, I'll do it. So I closed the program, eject the device, and reopened the program. Important to note, he had minimized it before I walked over. I say, there you go. Boss says, so you minimized it? I said, no, I closed it. He says, yeah, minimized. No, closed. Exited out. Boss, so it was here, gestures at the taskbar. I say, no, it was closed out. Click the X. Well, how did you reopen it? I say, well, I double-clicked the desktop icon. Boss is totally confused. I tell him I'll demonstrate it again. He says, huh. I told him, I'll add this to the instruction guide. And the boss says, well, not like I use it. And then comments down below, once you make something foolproof, the fools change their tactics. I think that's how it goes. And then a response to that says, I've only heard the slightly ruder version. If you make something idiot-proof, the universe makes a bigger idiot. Oh, how true. The universe does indeed make bigger idiots every single day. Every time we come up with a solution, I say we like I do something. Every time somebody smart comes up with a solution to a problem, some moron comes along and figures out how to thwart the whole thing. So, unfortunately, this is something we've had to live with through all the ages of time, and will continue to have to live with until the earth burns up into a little crispy bit of dust and floats away. All right, guys, thanks for joining in today. I hope you enjoyed the stories, and if you did, do me a favor and click all those little buttons down below and share with some friends. If you think they might like these kind of stories, whether it helps them sleep or, helps them listen to something in the background while they're working, I'm not picky, views are views, right? Anyway, I really do hope that you guys enjoy the stories. Till the next one, we'll see ya.